everybody. Welcome back to Pagan's Witchy Corner. My name is Pagan, and I am joined by a very dear friend who I have known for several years now, and I adore her so much. I adore her work. I adore her art. I just adore her. She is wonderful. Alisha Landreth, and I hope that I didn't butcher your last name because I've never actually pronounced it until now. um, and formerly and easily known on Twitter and social media as Queen of Swords, and also known for Tidy Tarot Company and all the great works of Tidy Tarot Company. Alisha, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you so much. It has been years. I didn't realize that.
I honestly and truly, I was telling my husband yesterday that December feels like it should already be closer to like the 20th, and it's only like the
Yes.
5th. And like 2022 also feels like it has gone by super fast, but at the exact same time, it feels like it's 10 years long.
That literally, yes.
So,
Oh, I feel every second of it.
it's so true. And then, we've talked about in the pandemic, and on the pandemic has like totally screwed up time for
Yeah.
everybody. Like, nobody knows how to tell time. Like, I mean, we all know how to tell time, but it feels like we have lived a decade in 2 to 3 years.
Oh my gosh, so much trauma.
Yes, so
So
much
much
trauma, so much, bullshit and everything in between.
trauma.
But also we've formed some really great friendships out of this thing that I don't know if we would have formed without it. So,
Well,
because you and I met
trauma
through the
bonding.
pandemic.
So, I mean, like, I get what you're saying with the time stuff because it feels like you can't like grasp the calendar in your mind of like it just feels like it was like 2019 or even 2016 feels closer
Hmm.
than it actually is. And then you're like, we're almost at 2023 and this is just too much sometimes to think about.
It really is. It really is. And,
Yeah.
it's so cool though, because you and I have gotten to do so much cool work together in the
Yes.
last few years through the paranormal community, through the witchy community. And a lot of it came together because of, I believe, the museum, which is
Yes.
the Paranormal and Occult Museum run by the Newkirks. If you guys
Mhm.
follow them, they're great humans. I highly recommend it. But I believe we met through there, and then you came
Yeah.
over and started doing artwork for us through Chaos and
Yeah.
Shadow, right?
Yes, that's it.
God, that's like a century ago as
A
well. Good
while ago,
Lord, it's
yeah.
so long.
No, and, I love doing the artwork. It helps me kinda decompress
Hmm.
from
I feel that. I
the
feel that.
world.
Um, and your art's been so amazing as well. Like, if you
Thank
have been a
you.
long time listener of my show and you've been a long time listener of Chaos and Shadow, you obviously knew about the various badges and the various artwork. And even the logo for Chaos and Shadow was done by Alicia.
Mhm.
And the cool thing is, Alicia and I actually got to kind of co-collab a little bit on one of her
Oh,
newest notebooks, which is a rune journal. So
yes.
let's talk a little bit about the Rune Journal, and then we'll talk about all your other really great works that you have out there. But the Rune Journal kind of came about as, I believe I was the one that was like, hey, I'm not talented enough. You should do this because you're really talented and all your stuff is fantastic. Go make this. And you're like, cool. I don't know how to do this. Help me.
Pretty much, yes. One thing I really love about this community is, like, how many people are like, can you do this kinda journal?" And it's something that either I've thought about or I've never thought about, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that would be a really great idea." So when you came up with, like, I would love a room journal. I was like, well, of course that would work because I mean, any form of divination that is like journalable, if that's a word,
Hmm.
then why can't we have a journal for that kind of stuff? Because it's something that somebody's going to be learning or interpreting, and everybody has their own interpretations or they get it from somewhere, and it's just nice to have it somewhere to write down for yourself, I think. So
Yes, absolutely. And that's the cool thing about all the journals that you create. And I the Rune Journal was one of those things of, I'd pulled my rune, I'd do the thing, I'd kind of write it like in my bullet journal and be like, okay, but I'd never look at it again because, it was intermixed with my day-to-day stuff that I had already checked
Oh, for
off and I'd
sure.
never go back to it. But with your
Yeah.
journals, you have the opportunity to go back and be like, oh, hey, I see the transition of what the runes have been telling me for the last month.
Yeah.
And you just didn't have the space, I really think, beforehand if you were just writing it down in a notebook. Not to say writing it down in a notebook's bad, just for the record. But the rune journal was super cool because you have all of these different options. Not to mention they're pretty. They're
Thank
very
you.
pretty.
Thank you. And I'll just say I never worked with runes before this,
Hmm.
for sure. And so it took a lot of researching, but I definitely love research since I'm working to become a librarian. Like that is my jam. I love researching stuff. So I came to you and I got a bunch of book recommendations and I went through them like for a while.
Hmm.
Writing down notes and like kind of processing, would this be something that somebody would want on a page if you're going to be journaling your rune set, then what would you want it to look like? Because with like tarot, I was already doing tarot and I was like, I created the journal for myself in the first place because I
Hmm.
was like, I need to write this down somewhere. And then like you, I was like writing it in notebooks and being like, well, this doesn't work. I need a space that
Yes.
tells me like what to write down because anybody with ADHD out there who's neurodivergent, if I just write it in a notebook, there's like a high chance I'm not coming back to it.
There's also a high
So-
chance that you will look at that notebook, set it down somewhere, and it will end up disappearing.
and it's gone.
It's gone. Like literally, you're like, I set it here. It was here yesterday. Where did it go? I guess
Right.
my house elves ran off with it or something because it's not there. Translation, it probably fell somewhere or you didn't
Yeah.
actually set it where you remembered and your brain is never going to find it unless you move. Just
Oh, right.
saying.
Yeah. Unless you take everything out of a space. And then the next time you do another reading, you're gonna have it in another notebook, and then all of a sudden you have like 10 notebooks and they're spread throughout, and you're just like kind of like this is overwhelming. So um
Looking at my shelf of notebooks above my
right.
desk.
Oh, believe I'm in my office and there's so many notebooks everywhere right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
kind of like took the same premise of like the tarot and I have the crystal ones too, and was like, okay, well, this layout for the tarot works really well. So let me envision like what is needed whenever you use runes. And then I just kind of took the information from all the different books and was like, okay, so this needs to go here. And like with runes, you have like an alphabetical sound that some
Mm-hmm.
of them make. And then so I was like, well, that feels important for, maybe for some people, maybe for some that does it's not important for, but it might, be something that you want to practice or whatnot. So you might want to add it in. So
I am one of those people that I am notoriously terrible about pronouncing my runes. So
yeah.
having that space to like write down the pronunciation and kind of remind myself this is how it's pronounced. This is how
Yeah.
you say it. It's not this way that your brain is telling you to say it because your brain's of course trying to read the rune in English
Yeah.
and that's not how it's
Like
pronounced.
phonetic sounds.
Yeah. It's like you
Yeah.
need it pronounced the way it's supposed to be. So having that space is really, really
Yeah.
cool. You know,
Yeah, that's why I added it because I was like, well, that sound is not what it looks like. So that feels
mhm.
right there.
Yes, absolutely. And some of the runes, yes, they are pronounced the way they look. Others, I don't know what they were thinking when they came up with those
Yeah.
pronunciations, but different part of the world, different area, but
Hmm.
my brain does not compute those. So it's like,
Yeah,
I think this is how that's pronounced. I'm not entirely sure. So I'm going to
exactly.
look it up every single time.
Yes.
But it was really
Yeah.
cool seeing that. And it was also really cool because you have what, four covers for it?
Wait, wait. Three
The rune
covers.
journal. I think you have what,
I
four
think
different covers for it?
I have three
Three
covers.
covers.
Yes.
And all of them are absolutely gorgeous and I
Thank
love
you.
each and every one of them. And I'm so happy that the rune journal came into fruition because I know it's
Me
going to help
too.
lots of people out there. So, Shameless plug moment. If you're somebody who reads runes, reads tarot, or reads any form of divination, check out Tidy Tarot Co. And you're on
Yeah.
Etsy, and I know you're on Instagram as well, right?
Instagram is probably the best way to find. I am on Etsy, but not. I have some
Oh, and you're on
printable.
Amazon. Yeah, there'll be links in the bio,
Yeah.
everybody. It'll just be easier.
Oh
Follow the
yeah.
links in the bio.
Yeah, you can buy the journals off Amazon. Sometimes, so if you follow on Instagram, sometimes I have a stack of journals that I have ordered, and I will send them out with stickers and pens and like bookmarks and all kinds of stuff. So, it's good to keep an eye out on there because just at random times I have like a little stack of them that I can mail out to people. For, a similar price as what they're listed on Amazon.
That's really cool. And yes, all the stickers are really great. My daughter has some. I have some. I think I still have a stack of them somewhere on my desk
Oh,
because
I'm sure.
I remember the first time I opened a package of you, it was like sticker palooza. It just went poof. And I'm like, what was that? And my husband's like, I think it's stickers. And
Yes,
there's stickers all over the floor, all over the table, and I was like, "Oh well." They just kind of went poof out of the package, which was fun and exciting. And then my daughter's like, "Ooh, stickers!" And I'm like,
yes.
"Oh well, there goes the box of stickers right there."
Everybody loves stickers, and I give enough that you don't have sticker panic.
No, you do not have sticker panic, and you will have lots of stickers and cool things. And the bookmarks are really fun too because they're magnetic.
Oh yeah, I do
Um,
magnetic ones sometimes. Other times I do like laminated ones. So,
I don't think
um,
I've gotten a laminated one from you. I've gotten
probably
the magnetic ones.
yes.
Yeah.
I hand make all those ones. So
Wow.
it depends on like what I've got going on.
Girl, you are talented. I am not
Thank
that
you.
talented. I, it's funny talking to other artists and all that because it's like you get in awe of their creations. It's like, I'm not that talented. And then they're like, but I'm not as talented as your artwork. And it's like,
Yeah.
we have these like round and round circles of how talented the other artist is. And it's
Oh,
so much
right.
fun.
There's so
Um,
many people. I'm just in awe of their work all the time. I'm like, oh my God, you're so good. Which
right. I
good.
do that too. There's a few artists out there that I'm just like, every time I see them, I'm just like, huh, why can't I
Yeah.
paint like you? Why can't I draw like, why didn't my hands work like yours?
Right.
I
Oh
get
my
this
gosh.
really kind of sad face, but I also am so in awe of their talent and their artwork that I'm just like, gods, you are so talented and perfect, and I love it. Can I, how much is it? Can I buy it
Right.
now? Do you have prints available? Can I, how do I order?
I think
Where's your buy link, please?
that's one of the things I really love about this community is like how supportive everybody is, especially of the artists in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you definitely are supported by your friends. And even if like, you know, I can't afford something at the moment, I will try to hype you up as high as I can or share.
Yes.
And I see that
Yes.
all the time everywhere too. Other people just share content and share each other's stuff. And so I really like how helpful everybody is in the community whenever they really, really hype each other up. It's really awesome to see.
It is very awesome to see, and it's something that I hope, we continue doing as a community for each other, not just in the occult community but also in the witchcraft community and the paranormal communities, just continually helping people out and being there for everybody, because that's one thing that we desperately need, especially if, as we're watching Twitter kind of implode on itself and we're
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
losing a platform.
Yeah.
I did a painting just the other day, and I'm still debating whether or not I should share it on Twitter because Twitter is such a terrible place now, and I
Oh, yeah.
just don't
Yeah.
know if I really want to share it there. And I'm like, but I
I know
know that so many people
that.
want to see it on Twitter. That's the downside.
And
So
more people see on Twitter. Although I've noticed lately some of my posts, I don't see people's stuff sometimes for like a day or two. And I'm
yeah.
like, I didn't see this. I'm so sorry. And I usually am like, somebody that comments on your things.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm in the same boat, and I know a lot of people are that way too with Twitter. That we're just seeing so many people not get their posts seen. Like there'll be times where I'm like, I get like 1, maybe 2 likes on a post, not saying that that's, a bad thing or
Oh,
anything.
yeah.
Just saying that that's uncommon for
Yeah.
before Elon bought Twitter. That was uncommon. So I was like, that's strange. Why is it so low? Why are people seeing this? And then you check the engagement over, it's like 4 people have seen this. It's
Yeah.
been up for 16 hours. What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What?
I'll see stuff and it will be like, so and so posted this 21 hours ago, and I was like, how come it's literally just showing up like for the
Yes.
first today then? And so I feel like that's kind of a dangerous line to, ride, especially if people are like reaching out for maybe help with something
Yes.
on Twitter to their community and then nobody's responding. It's going to look like nobody cares, and that I feel like is so dangerous. So hopefully we all kind of find a platform to jump to. you know
And that's the thing though, like Twitter was kind of its own one of a kind thing. There hasn't really been anything else out there just like it.
no,
And, Mastodon is one of those ones where I'm still trying to figure that one out. Uh
I
I have
didn't
not done that yet.
understand it.
Yeah, I've tried a couple of times and I'm like, I'm so confused. I don't even I'm done. I can't try to figure this out. I'm getting too old to the point where I can't figure out new social media.
That's isn't that the worst feeling? I got on it and I was like, that I don't know where to go right here. And I feel like a very tech savvy person, but I was like,
Right.
so I just got right back off. I was like, I'll just wait till somebody says something of where to go.
And then everyone's like, go back to Tumblr. And I'm like, I don't want to go back to Tumblr.
I was never on Tumblr before.
I was on Tumblr before. So yeah, Tumblr is completely out of the question. And I'm like, Instagram's okay, but I can't, post my thoughts.
Yeah, no stream of
No
consciousness.
stream of consciousness, which, in some ways I'm like, that might be a good thing. But at the
For
same
some
time,
people.
I also like to have people, to be like, hey, guess what I did today? You should hear about this. I know my friends will be excited to hear about this, and I don't
Yeah.
want to text 25 people.
Oh gosh, right? No.
And I'm such a bad texter person already. Like, I feel bad because somebody will message me and be like, hey, I meant to text you back, but I forgot about this. Sorry, it was 2 weeks
That's
ago.
okay.
I still love you, just for the record. That's totally an ADHD thing.
I mean, I think that's just most of our friends are neurodivergent. I think everybody kind of just understands that, like, oh, that's totally fine. Like, don't
Yeah,
worry.
it's the whole out of sight, out of mind thing. Literally the same thing with the
Yes.
notebooks that we were just
Yeah.
talking about. But, it's so funny to kind of think about how the world is changing and how we're going to have to keep up with, the changing pace. And we haven't had to have such a big social media transition for probably like 5 or 6 years.
Oh yeah.
And
It's
even thinking about like 5 or 6 years ago, I'm like, yeah, I was still pretty comfortable with like Twitter and Facebook and all that. And now it's like, whoo, I don't know how to like get off of one. And I'm just now learning TikTok. And that's a whole nother thing. I'm one of those chronic observers first where I'll sit there and I'll watch
oh
everything,
yeah.
but I won't
Yes.
post anything. I did the same thing with Twitter for years.
I totally feel that. Instagram, I am very much a chronic observer, and so I forget sometimes to post things there. But on Twitter, I do like have my stream of consciousness like
Mm-hmm.
just flowing out there sometimes to talk to people about things or be like, here, like I just got to get this out of my brain for a minute and
It's also
let's
been such a great place to connect with other voices too.
yes.
With between like the witchy community, for me also like the disabled communities have
Oh yeah.
had such a great voice on Twitter. So it's so funny to kind of sit there and just go, huh, well, this might be over in 2 weeks. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see how it
that's like
goes.
this is kind of like one of those times where you're like, I don't know if it's going to be there tomorrow or not.
I
So,
literally get on there and I check Twitter in the morning. I'm like, are you still working? Are
yeah,
you
you're
still
still
alive?
working.
Tap the
Yeah,
screen. Are you good? Are you good? Are you awake? Okay.
exactly. Oh my goodness.
It's so funny. Oh my goodness. So, as far as all your journals go, you
Yeah.
have Crystal, you have Tarot, and you have Rune.
And I have the spell
and the
journals.
spell journal. Yes, I was like, I know I'm forgetting one, and
No,
I
you're
own
fine.
the other one. What is it? It's the spell journal. If you are
Yeah,
somebody that likes to write your own spells, I highly recommend the spell journal.
thank you.
I love the spell journal. It's probably about 50% filled, and I'm
Oh,
gonna probably
wow,
have to
that's
order
awesome.
another one. But it's such a great space to, because before I would be like, okay, I'm gonna write down a spell, I'm gonna write down
Yeah.
all the stuff, and then I would be on a notebook somewhere, and then I would lose the
Amazing.
notebook or lose the paper, and I'm like, well,
Yes.
I'm gonna wing it and hope that I don't get, this backfired.
Yeah, exactly. That was the same. I mean, same train of thought, more notebooks, but like, I wrote stuff down every which place. But with like the spell journal, especially because I get like, sigil work or candle work or other things from other places, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted it to be like somewhere I could put all of those things that I like working with, like my favorite money spells, my favorite candle spells, favorite full moon or new moon stuff, and not have to be like, what was that again? Like, what am I doing? And that one has, I think, a little bit more space per journal entry because that has like places for all your ingredients,
Mm-hmm.
what the moon cycle is, like if it's in a jar or a candle, and then like what your altar setup is, and then your notes.
I think
And
that there's 3 pages per spell, if I remember correctly. Because you have all the ingredients and all that stuff, and then like the spell incantation and all that stuff. And then I think you put a notes page on the back
oh
page.
yeah, so you have like two main pages, and then there's actually a dot grid journal page on the back
Right,
and
yes.
the page. Yeah, so there's about 4 pages per spell. So people can use it, like Grimoire, Spellbook. I use this one a lot. And then I'm actually working on another one
Oh,
that
okay.
is more Yule type. And should actually be out in the next few weeks, I think. Um, I am finishing up artwork with my sister. She actually did the artwork for the last round of the Tidy Tarot journals
Mm-hmm.
for just the daily tarot journals. And she's under the name Bandit Queens on Instagram. And her artwork is so amazing. I love it. Um, it's much different from my stuff. But she is working with me right now on Yule um art, and then I'll be able to hopefully publish it before or during the first week of Yule for this year.
Are you
So,
thinking about doing like a full Wheel of the Year set?
um, I have thought of it, but that would probably be a little bit of a bigger undertaking, I think.
That's
Um,
fair.
oh yeah. Um, since I'm in school, it probably wouldn't happen till like a summertime. you
I
know?
mean, that's totally fair to, but that would be kind of cool though to like even just sell like a set of all the ones so you could have
Oh,
like a
that would be a
different
good
book
idea.
for each one.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and then
Like, I
like
have
have
thought of, like, a
recipes to
salad.
go with it. That would be fun. But see, I'm part kitchen witch, so
Yeah.
having all this like space for your recipes for all the holidays and all the cool stuff that you'd be doing. I mean, that would be
Yes.
fun. That would be
That's what
so fun.
I'm excited for this Yule one because it's kind of like, kind of a kitchen witchery-ish one.
Ooh, I
Um,
like.
but I do have, like, artwork started for kind of like a more of a kitchen witch one, down the line. Oh my gosh, there's so many different ideas that have been written down or people have mentioned that, like, I literally do listen to everybody who
Mm-hmm.
tells me, like, this is something I would use. So, yes, I actually do want to create those things for you. If that is something that somebody would use, I don't mind designing it. If that's like, you know, something you would find useful, because I think that a lot more people than just one person would find it
Mm-hmm.
useful. And
Absolutely.
I feel like it would help. a lot more people.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that
like
that's one of those things that, if you have one person that's saying it, there's probably at least like 5 or 6 more people in the room that are like, I was thinking it, but I wasn't going to say it because,
yeah.
I don't want to bother you with my ideas because,
Oh,
we
for
have,
sure.
social
Yeah.
anxiety is a thing. But yeah, absolutely. I think that that's so cool. And I love that you have so many great ideas and so many more cool things that are coming out.
Thank
I'm excited for all of it because
you.
I'm a big fan and I will need to put up more shelving for all of the other books.
Love more notebooks. Oh my gosh.
I
That's a I
That's
think
my
is
biggest thing.
I like your idea for, like, the wheel of the year, but in, like, separate, notebooks because I
Hmm.
feel like one notebook, I don't know if Amazon would let me print that. If
Yeah,
I
I
did.
mean, if you did them individually, so that way you can be like, okay, well, it is Yule season, so December 1st, I'm gonna pull out the book, or whenever you'd like, whenever you celebrate. I know some people start their stuff at like November 15th and go all the way to like January 15th. You do
Oh,
you.
wow. That
But whatever it is, if you have like your notebook, just pull that out and all your stuff is
yeah,
there. Your, holiday recipes, your traditions,
yeah.
your spell work that you would do and all that. I mean, that's cool. That is
That's
I'm like I
basically
would buy it.
that's basically what the Yule journal is, like, I want it to be a space where and I know that this is probably gonna be, like, a one-time buy for people, and that is fine with me, I don't like, I'm definitely not making, buku money off of this or anything. I just really like designing them because I find them extremely useful personally to
Hmm.
me. So, yeah, the Yule one is going to be like, recipes, traditions, rituals that you do for each. So it's just going to be the 12 days of Yule, traditional 12 days. And, but there's just going to be space for you to just write out basically everything you do for each day and whatever you wanna call it, it's just kind of like the same idea of like a guided space.
Hmm.
And you know how people have like family Bibles, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. That was kind of like my idea of like what I wanted this one to be of like a it's where you're writing down your family traditions for this time of year. Because I think there's a lot of people who have, you know, not to say anything, but deconstructed
Hmm.
and then moved towards maybe that kind of ritual, but they want to celebrate like Christmas, but maybe add in some other traditions. And that can be done too. It doesn't have to be just Yule. It can be those kind of ideas too for people or families. However, which way they want to celebrate the holiday season, it could be used as such. So,
I think that that's really cool. And I think that that would also be a really great gift to give. Let's say that you're an adult witch or pagan and
yes,
you want to write
yes.
down your traditions that you've been doing with your kids, and your kids are now adults. Now you can get one of those, write it all down for them, and then pass it on to them
Oh,
so they can take
that,
it to their home.
that gave me goosebumps. I love that.
I think that would be cool. I mean, it's what I would do for my kids, but maybe I'm
Yeah.
just one of the one in a million that would do that. But I think that that's a really fun and exciting kind of gift.
Oh, that would be
Um, and then, if you had one for each, different tradition, that would be really cool because,
yeah,
sometimes I think that we think that the will of the year is just it should be a one and done kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
And we really could make them bigger if we wanted to, where, for me, and bulk is more than just,
Oh, yeah.
celebrating the sun. It's also when I start my seeds, and some of my seeds even go outside during that time of the year.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I
Oh.
think that having something along those lines would be cool. And then there's, Ostara and um uh, sorry, I blanked.
No.
Beltane and all the others,
Oh,
and
yeah.
but especially when you get to Samhain, Samhain would have to be like twice as
Oh,
thick as the
yeah.
rest of them.
I've been thinking about a Samhain one for a while and, like, what all to include in something like that, or like you said, Austera, I feel like that's such a big time of year for a lot of people. Oh, man, there's so many, and, I mean, my family has only been practicing it for, like, 5 years, I think, 'cause,
Hmm.
um we don't go to church or anything. We're not really religious in any way. I am a witch, so I do have like spiritual practice, that I do. Um, but our oldest was going to school and seeing like, well, these kids are like going to church. These kids are like doing these things at Christmas time. Like, what do we do? I was just kind of like, oh, you know, there's things that we can do, there's things that we can introduce. So then we decided to start practicing the 12 days of Yule, and like we love it. It's so much
Mm-hmm. It is so
fun.
much fun.
And we do different things each year that are like a little bit different and then the same, or we add in new things. And so that's kind of like the Yule journal was kind of like, okay, we've done this one a few times like this, and we really like doing it this way. So here's I'm gonna write down this one. And every year can change. It doesn't always have to be the same, but there's things that we really like about some of the traditions that we do now that like now the kids count down to the first day of Yule. So,
That's cool.
yes. So that's, like, something very personal for our family, and that is one reason that I wanted to create it. But, I think a lot of other people might find it useful too,
Mm-hmm.
so
I think that that's a really fun thing. Like, for one example that I actually just found that would probably end up going in ours, whenever we get one, a copy of
yeah.
it, would be that it's actually November the 26th, is a heathen holiday,
Oh,
and it is actually known as Advent, and it actually starts your Advent calendars. So
I have
that's
heard of
where the
that.
whole Advent thing came from. I was like, I had
Oh,
no idea. I'm like, this is really cool. And then, of course, because we're major bookworms here,
yeah.
we thought about doing a book Advent calendar here, which would
Mm,
be fun.
that would be
And
so amazing. Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
I could collect the books throughout the year. That would be fun. Well, I can't collect the books throughout the year because my daughter reads them faster than I can buy them. Uh, Literally, we just got a brand new box that was completely destroyed, by our postal service, and so most of the books are having to get replaced anyways. But she was like, "Can I read these anyway, even though they're completely like wrinkled and destroyed and not brand new, like they look like they're completely destroyed?" And
Oh
she
my
was
god.
like, "Can I read them anyway?" And I'm like, "I guess,
Yeah,
sure.
why not?
I mean, you're getting new ones." And she was
Yeah.
like, "That's fine. I'll just read them again when they get here." And I'm like, "Okay."
That is like my oldest, she read this graphic novel on like Scribd or something like that. And then we went to the store to get some like books, some paperbacks, and she picked out the same ones. And I was like, okay, like you've already read them a few times. Do you want something else? She was like, no, I want to read this one again, but in my hand. I was like, all right, you know,
Oh, see, I'm like that too, where I'm like, I'll read it online, but if I had it in like
yes,
a hard copy,
yeah,
that's my biggest issue with books is I don't have enough space for all the books.
for all the books,
And
yes.
that's why I have a Kindle. But at the same time, I'm like, the hard copy's so much nicer in my hands. And
No, I understand.
it's something about that texture feel. Like I've been actually rereading Dracula. We just got a copy of Dracula. It's leather bound and it's gorgeous and it's perfect in
Oh,
all the ways.
no.
Um, Luckily, it was one of the few that were not damaged in that box.
Yeah,
And so I've been sitting there rereading it, and I'm like, I forgot how good this book was because I read it in middle school.
yeah.
And so I'm like, man, this is such a good book. Such a good
Uh,
book. And of course, my daughter does something that's absolutely hilarious. I'm sitting there reading it, and I'm getting ready to feed the dogs. And she was like, she looks at the front door and she goes, Mom. And I was like, what? And she goes, someone's here, and says it like in that really ominous kind of sound. And I
oh,
just got done reading Dracula,
oh my
and
god.
I'm just like, what? And of course, it's pitch black outside because it's close to winter time. And I'm like, what are you
No.
talking about? Nobody's supposed to be here. And I go and I'm just like, lock the door. I don't even know who it is. And I'm like, oh, it's Amazon. Never mind.
Oh my it's like the poltergeist there. He No.
But it was so, and she was like, I didn't say it creepy. And I'm like, oh, you did. You did. You just don't realize you said it creepy.
Oh,
Oh my goodness, but it's so funny like that. But I think that that's such a cool thing to have the Yule journal and to have that for those traditions.
yeah.
And obviously all your journals are extremely affordable, so if you ever get
Yeah.
yours filled up and you're like, "Hey, I would like to change it up or, make one
Yeah.
for my adult kids now or whatever." By all means, get one. Get one
And
and do that.
sometimes Amazon puts them on sale and I don't even know. So
Yeah, they do that. They do that.
I check sometimes and I try to post it on Instagram whenever they are having them on sale. Like the other day, I think the crystal journals were on sale for half off, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, somebody, jump on this, you guys, because it doesn't take away any of what I get paid. I still get paid the same amount from it, no matter what they put it on sale for."
I like that
So
they do that with their self-pub authors where
yeah,
they
that
just
is
randomly run a deal on it, which I think is
yeah,
cool.
that is one, like, okay thing about Amazon, but, you know, uh,
One
one
okay.
for self-publishing, yes, it's amazing, I haven't really had too many issues with them, and the print the product is really nice, like, the
Hmm.
journals have come out really nice, the covers are like that really buttery, soft feeling.
Yeah, they're the matte covers, right?
Yes, they're the
Yeah,
matte cover. Like, anyone who loves has sensory stuff, that's a really nice little feeling
it
of
is. It is
I
really
think it
nice.
is.
I like the hardbacks too. The hardbacks came out really, really nice.
They did
Um,
come out nice, I was very happy with So
Yeah, it's really, really nice. And even their glossy stuff I know is really nice because both of my books are
yes.
published with glossy and
Nice,
all that.
yes.
So I do love Amazon's publishing. It is really nice, especially if you're somebody that's new to publishing and you're like, "Oh, well, I don't want to go traditional." Check out Amazon. They're actually pretty decent.
Yes, they are actually pretty decent, and then, you can get your own stuff, printed author copies, and, like, sell them out
Mhm.
other places if you want to, and that's how I end up with, like, stacks of journals sometimes. Because especially if I release a new one, I will buy a stack of them
Mhm.
so that I can send them out with stickers and pins and, like, all sorts of stuff that you don't get on Amazon with them, so um, I just like to try to connect with some of the people that are getting them. So it's not just like a faceless,
Mhm.
entity off
It's true though. You get a really great package from anytime you order through Alicia stuff. You get really great
Amazon.
packages. All of them are wonderful.
I appreciate that.
And the tarot journals are also really great if you want to pair them with like a tarot book, like tarot rituals, tarot by the moon.
Oh yeah,
Any of
totally.
those are so great just to pair them with them. They're really fantastic. And I also
Yeah.
like that in the tarot journals, you leave space to actually draw the tarot cards if you're
Yes.
artistic, which I thought was really cool. And I'm like, I'm not this artistic or this I'm I'm that artistic, but I don't have enough patience to do that if I'm
That's
doing a
okay.
reading. So I just
I
write down the
see.
title of the card in the box.
You can draw, I know some people like they want to do their own interpretation, so that's
Oh, that's
great.
cool.
Some people I've seen use that space just to not draw, but write down the symbology in the card,
Oh,
like
that's neat.
a cup, or a chalice. There's flowers, there's all these different things so that they can write down what symbols are there, and so they kind of like can match that in their mind. When I sketch them, I just do like a very quick sketch.
Hmm.
I don't go too deep into it. Some people might. That's another thing in like the rune journal. I did leave space to draw your runes, but I also did include basically a very light guide behind the drawing space. Since runes are very, straight line um shapes
Hmm.
basically, but I put kind of like a guide that's like a asterisk kind of guide that you can draw over it to get your runes drawing the way that you want it to look. So, kind of the same idea with the tarot is, drawing your card or writing. You can even use that space to write down, symbols or anything like that.
That's super cool. Super, super cool. Well, Alisha,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being here. This has been
Yeah.
wonderful as always, and I love having you here. You're gonna have to come back when all of your other stuff comes out because we're gonna have to talk about it. Because yes, of course.
I'll let you know. There's so many projects I'm working on in the background that will
So
be
we'll just leave you a standing appointment once a year to talk about everything.
right. Oh, right. There's some really cool ones that are gonna be known about by next year,
I'm
and
so excited.
I am really psyched for it. So just keep your ears out for some of the things I'll be doing in the next year. So
I am so excited for them. All of Alicia's links will be in the description below. Make sure you go and check out all of her stuff. She has different variations. I'm not going to put all the variation links because I don't have
that's
that
okay.
much space. Just for the
No,
record,
take it
everybody. But just for the record, there will be several links for you to go check those out. Check out everything. It's so awesome. If you are looking for a spell journal where you want to write down all the spells you've created or your favorite spells, whichever you prefer, spell journal is great. Tarot journals are great. Rune journal is great. All the journals. Just buy them. You'll love them. It's fantastic. And we've already talked about everything that you've got up and coming. Do you have any classes or anything? I don't think you have any classes that you're teaching and
No, I don't
stuff.
usually do classes. I know, I mean, a shout out to like Kiki Dombrowski. Sometimes she has classes through the year
I
also,
love
and
Kiki. She's so
I love
nice.
Kiki so much.
I love all the people in the paranormal community
Yes.
and the witchy community. And you guys have heard us talk to Kiki before. It's been a while. I need to actually have her back on because I think she had another book in the works. So,
Yes. Oh yeah, and I I think Katie Webb might be having some tarot classes too on Patreon. So another
oh,
person to
yes.
oh
Katie. We love Katie.
yes, love Katie. So that might be, somebody if somebody's trying to learn tarot, I would
She's a great person to learn tarot from. So is
also
Kiki.
yes. Yes.
There's so many
Well,
great other people out there that are fantastic,
I'm
but
totally forgetting people and I'm sorry.
oh no, we can promote all those people because we love those people. They're such wonderful humans. Alisha is also a wonderful human.
Thank
Again,
you.
check out her stuff, and everybody, make sure you're taking care of yourselves. Be good to yourselves. Just some very quick housekeeping. Uh, on the week of the 19th, I'm going to try to have a Yule episode pre-recorded, but I'm getting my wisdom teeth taken out the week before. I'm probably not going to be very talkative, so hopefully I will be all good to do that, but if not, we may be taking that week off. So just as a heads up, there may not be an episode that week, but y'all know why. So take care, everybody. Be safe, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.